The Untold Story of Martha Washington. Fun facts about America's First Lady. Most people know George Washington as the first president of the United States, but how much do you know about the woman who stood by his side? Martha Washington wasn't just a supportive wife. She was a powerful figure in her own right, shaping the role of the First Lady before it even had a name. From managing vast estates to hosting political gatherings, her influence was undeniable. But did you know she was also one of the wealthiest women of her time? Or that she burned most of her personal letters to protect her privacy? Stay tuned to uncover the fascinating and lesser-known fact about America's very First Lady. Martha Washington is often overshadowed by her legendary husband, but her story is just as compelling. Born Martha Dandridge in 1731, she lived through times of immense change, from British colonial rule to the birth of a new nation. She wasn't just a wealthy planter's wife, she was a widow, a mother, a businesswoman, and eventually, the First Lady of the United States. Her life was filled with challenges, triumphs, and surprising moments that history books rarely highlight. In this video, we'll dive into some of the most interesting and untold facts about Martha Washington, revealing the woman behind the title. Number 1. She was a wealthy widow before marrying George Washington. Before becoming Martha Washington, she was Martha Dandridge Custis. At just 18 years old, she married Daniel Parke Custis, a wealthy plantation owner. When Custis died suddenly in 1757, Martha became one of the richest widows in Virginia, inheriting a vast estate and managing hundreds of enslaved workers. This made her an incredibly powerful woman in colonial society, at a time when women rarely had such control over property and finances. Number 2. Her marriage to George Washington was a strategic power move. When Martha married George Washington in 1759, it wasn't just a love match, it was also a smart alliance. George was an ambitious young military officer, and Martha's wealth and social status gave him the financial stability and connections he needed to rise in prominence. Together, they became one of the most influential couples in Virginia, setting the stage for George's eventual leadership in the American Revolution. Number 3. She destroyed most of her letters to George Washington. Unlike many historical figures whose personal letters give insight into their private lives, Martha Washington ensured that much of her correspondence with George remained a mystery. After his death, she burned most of their letters, leaving only a handful that historians can study today. Why? Some believe she wanted to protect their privacy, while others think she wanted to preserve George's image as a leader without personal distractions. Number 4. She played a vital role during the American Revolution. Martha didn't just stay home while her husband fought for American independence. She actively contributed to the war effort. She spent winters at military camps, including the harsh winter at Valley Forge, where she boosted soldiers' morale, organized supplies, and provided medical care. She even raised money to support the troops, proving she was more than just a supportive wife. She was a leader in her own right. Number 5. She was the First Lady, but she hated the title. Martha Washington was the first woman to serve in the role of First Lady, but she never used the title. In fact, she preferred to be called Lady Washington. She saw herself as a private person, not a public figure, and disliked the formal responsibilities that came with being married to the president. However, she set many traditions that future First Ladies would follow, such as hosting receptions and managing the social aspects of the presidency. Number 6. She freed George Washington's enslaved workers, but not immediately. One of the most controversial aspects of Martha Washington's life was her role as an enslaver. After George Washington died in 1799, his will stated that his enslaved workers would be freed upon Martha's death. However, Martha decided to free them early, reportedly because she feared for her own safety. Some of the enslaved people knew they would be free after her passing, and there were rumors that this made her uneasy. So, in 1801, she granted them their freedom. Number 7. She adopted 2 of her grandchildren. Martha had 4 children with her first husband, Daniel Parke Custis, but none of them lived to adulthood. However, she played a major role in raising her grandchildren. When her son, John Parke Custis, died in 1781, she and George Washington took in 2 of his children, Eleanor, Nellie, and George Washington Parke Custis. They raised them as their own, bringing them to Mount Vernon and even the presidential mansion. Number 8. She had a strong opinion about politics, even if she couldn't vote. Although women couldn't vote or hold office in the 18th century, Martha had strong political views. She was deeply involved in her husband's presidency and often hosted important political figures at their home. She was also vocal about her dislike of political attacks against George and was known to express her frustration over the difficulties of public life. Number 9. She was the first woman to be featured on U.S. currency. Most people associate George Washington with money, but did you know Martha Washington was also featured on U.S. currency? In the late 19th century, her portrait appeared on the $1 silver certificate, making her the first, and so far only, first lady to be depicted on a piece of U.S. paper money. Number 10. She lived in isolation after George Washington's death. After George Washington passed away in 1799, Martha's life changed drastically. She moved into a smaller section of Mount Vernon, closed off their bedroom, and rarely entertained visitors. She died just 2.5 years later in 1802, leaving behind a legacy that would shape the role of first ladies for generations to come. Martha Washington wasn't just the wife of the first U.S. president. She was a powerful woman who played a crucial role in the founding of America. From managing vast estates to influencing political circles, she was far more than a background figure in George Washington's story. Her legacy continues to influence the role of first ladies today. What do you think about Martha Washington's impact on American history? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more fascinating historical stories. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.